As you can see, Chris is looking very pale right now. He's looking a little drawn out. His eyes are squinting. He's kind of looking like Coach Greg. Is he perhaps smoking a doobie? But he cannot give up. Coach Greg, in today's video, Chris Bumstead experiencing mental difficulties, mental battles as he prepares for the 2024 Mr. Olympia.
What is up, YouTube? Currently about 5 weeks out the Olympia, and I'm getting the absolute fatigue just like hitting me right now.
And so it's now 5 weeks out from the Mr. Olympia, and he's experiencing extreme fatigue. He can barely make it through a day. He had to miss out on the JHM Shark event in New York, of which he desperately wanted to go. He has some of his fondest memories from attending these events. And if you remember, he had the mic drop announcing that he now is a equity owner, part owner of JHM Shark. And so, of course, he wanted to be there.
There's an event literally today in New York, and I'm not there because I'd rather win an Olympia than go to the event, but I have serious FOMO.
And so it's all about management at this point. People are all expecting Chris Bumstead to win by a landslide. I don't know of anyone who honestly thinks that Chris Bumstead could lose. Of course, there are people who are rooting and cheering for their favorites, for example, Ramon Dino, Irvs, and Wesley Vissers. But for the most part, deep down inside, the people know that that's just wishful thinking. And so if Chris Bumstead can avoid injury, I see no possibility that anyone else could win. And so it's all about the internal demons. Now remember, it is possible that he could show up without a proper tan. Everyone knows that Chris Bumstead is my favorite black natural athlete, but without the proper tan, he might in fact slide to 6th place. And this was the case for Mike Israetel. He didn't show up with the proper tan, he didn't properly exfoliate and so on, and that led him to not being dark enough to win his IFBB Pro card. Everyone knows that.
But I just got hit in the face with being so tired in the last week or two. My weight's dropping, I still got a lot of ways to go.
As you can see, Chris is looking very pale right now. He's looking a little drawn out. His eyes are squinting. He's kind of looking like Coach Greg. Is he perhaps smoking a doobie? But he cannot give up. At this point, this is what separates the men from the boys. Remember, he's 5 weeks out and he looks leaner than many people competing on show day. But for Chris is not a normal human being.
At that point in prep where you're just exhausted all the time and trying to do anything,
Now, I do know that Chris has an amazing coach, but I fear this. I'm worried that he doesn't have him taking GO2 Max. Y'all know how much more energy that can give you, and that coupled with Turk Builder, imagine what Chris could do. The fatigue, the brain fog, the lack of energy, that could be mitigated by using these supplements. And so Chris, please, for the love of God, use the proper supplementation. Code Greg, 15% off.
Me, Bradley, and Courtney went to a coffee shop, and I was sitting there walking into the coffee shop, and I was I'm exhausted.
And so what Chris is experiencing, I experienced for every single competition in my life. Every single one of them. Regardless if you're using my cookbook or using pre-workout and so on, there's going to be a point in your diet that it just doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter!
When your body fat simply gets too low for your body, it fights back, and it does so by limiting your energy. I lacked so much energy at one competition that I couldn't do shoulder checks anymore. It was too hard. Crashed the car into a post. Not making this shit up. Getting out of the bathtub to use the bathroom. Remember, you're drinking so much water. Too much work. I'd almost rather pee myself in the tub than get up and use the washroom. That is the level of suffering that you'll go through to become shredded. And so when I see a guy like Mike Israetel saying, no, I have lots of energy, my sleep's great, and I'm thinking, you're not lean enough. There's no way that you have that kind of energy if you're at 4% body fat. But in Mike's special circumstance, it wasn't the fact that he wasn't lean enough, it was the fact that he didn't have a proper tan. And so no matter what Chris does, no matter what supplements he takes, he's still going to be tired throughout the day, but he has to get through his workout. If there's 1 hour in every day that he needs serious amount of energy for, then he has to get through it no matter what, it's his workout. And of course, he has his own company. He can take his own pre-workouts, but he would absolutely benefit from GO2 Max and Turk Builder. I promise you that. And so during the rest of the day, he can relax. He can sit back. He can conserve energy. You're thinking, no, he can't. He has to get his NEAT up. He has to move around. He has to get 12,000 steps. No, he doesn't. He can rely on his diet. He can reduce his calories. But during the time he's in the gym, he has to focus. He doesn't want to train. He has no energy. But that's the one thing that makes him happy. And so for that hour, he's going to summon all the courage that he has to give it 100%. And remember, he's training alone at his home gym. That is very difficult to put through 100% effort when you're training alone.
I was listening to a podcast and it was talking about this study that was like the greatest synergistic comparison to prep that I'd heard in a while.
And so Chris, he's a very intellectual person. He listens to lots of podcasts and so on. And he remembered a study where it said, when you're very much fatigued, you're tired, exhausted, you underestimate just how much power and energy you can actually put out if you need to. Chris needs to. And so when he goes to the gym, he doesn't have any energy. Remember me, I barely could do a shoulder check. Oftentimes I would get people to drive me to the gym. I didn't trust myself to get myself to the gym without getting into an accident. But when I got into the gym, it was time to flip the switch and give it my 100%. And so what do you think Chris does? What do you think his message is? You can summon everything and get the job done. You might be getting up in the morning, and yeah, many of you are not Chris Bumstead. You're not dieting for competition. You might wake up in the morning and feel tired. I don't want to go to work today. I don't want to go to the gym. There's too much energy. My legs are sore. I'm tired. I'm hungover. You can do it. You can do it. When you're hungover, tired, exhausted, you are underestimating the power, what you can summon deep inside to make sure that you get the job done. And so when I'm in a bike race and I'm exhausted, I can barely keep up with the guy in front of me. But the end of the race is coming. I know that no matter how tired I am, I've got one last effort inside of me. I can do it. Oftentimes I'll underestimate myself. There's no way I can win this sprint. I'm exhausted. There's no way. Why not try? Why not give it your all?
But I still moved X amount of weight last week, and just because my calories are depleted, I'm more tired now. It doesn't mean I've lost all my strength.
He goes out there and knows, I'm going to give it my all. Perhaps once in a while you can't. You put in every ounce of effort and it doesn't pay back. You had to get 10 reps, you got 7. But most of those days, even if you think, yeah, probably only going to get 7, you might surprise yourself and you get 10. And so rather than going into the gym and thinking, I'm going to suck today, I'm not going to be able to do it, why even try? You go to the gym, you say, I know I can do it. I'm in the gym and this is my hour. Give it the hour of power.
But being able to get in the gym and just kind of like allow yourself to feel tired, sit in the car, I'm tired, it is what it is. But when I get in the gym, you get over it.
And so ignore your mind telling you that you're tired. You're not. It's telling you you're tired because it's trying to make it easy. For many people, life is about taking it easy. It is not. Life is about taking on challenges and overcoming them. I promise you that. If you have the easiest life, everything is handed to you. Money, cars, houses, everything. It's not a good life. A great life is one of which you take on a challenge and you overcome it.
That's why bodybuilding, I mean, everything at a high level, but bodybuilding is what I'm in, is such a mental battle constantly. You're just so tired every day.
And so if anyone's a fan of David Goggins, you know it's all in the mind. No matter how tired you are, you still have more. You can keep going. But if you let the mind, the negative thoughts take over your life, well, that's when you lose. The moment you give in to negative thoughts, that is when you lose.
So your nutrition is under-eaten. I'm doing more cardio than I should be for this kind of weight training. All these things are pulling away from my weight training, but then I still have to get in the gym and perform. And
so, of course, in bodybuilding, you're overtraining. You can argue with me, no, you're not. You're not doing too much. In bodybuilding, you're trying to get down to 4% body fat, which is absolutely ridiculous, but yet that is what we do. That is the demands of the sport. All the while, you're trying to train harder than last time. You're trying to push yourself in the gym to keep your strength, your size, and so on, while being on minimal calories. Does that make sense? And come show day, you're dehydrated, and so essentially you're doing the exact opposite of what you should be doing in order to feel your best.
And it's not about lying to myself. I'm not telling myself I'm not tired, I'm not fatigued, I'm not deep in prep. That's not true. I'm accepting where I'm at in prep.
As Chris says, it's not about lying to yourself. You're not saying, oh, I feel fine, I feel great. You feel like dog shit. But just because you feel like dog shit doesn't mean you can't mentally overcome that feeling.
Letting myself feel tired in the moment and still pushing myself to do what I know I'm capable of doing because A, I've proven it in the past, and B, I want to prove it again and more so in the future.
And success, it breeds success. Past triumphs breed future triumphs. And so what happens in life, as with anything else, is that one success leads to another. And it's not just about what happens in the gym, it's what happens everywhere. If you're more successful physically, you go to the gym and you build an incredible body. You're going to be able to be successful in all aspects of life. The mental and physical, they are connected. And so as you improve the physical, so does the mental. You remember, I did that. I lifted that weight, I did that show, I dieted, I trained every day for 6 months straight. And with that, you know that you can do anything, whether it's being a part owner of JHM Shark or perhaps being a school teacher, being a nurse, a doctor, firefighter, whatever job that may be, you know that you can study and put in the work. And so by being successful in building your body, it's going to allow you to be successful in building your mind. And so in all aspects of life, you can do better. And so he arrives at the gym, opens the door, and he's there to train all by himself. Notice, there's no one in the gym. He's literally opening up the gym himself. And so perhaps Courtney's saying, Chris, don't be like Coach Greg. Please come back. I know you said you came out. I know you said you went out to get a bag of milk. Please bring the milk back.
I had everyone thinking I was going to retire. I wasn't going to compete this year. I was moving to the open. And I know those were all rumors that Ramon, Wesley, and Urs were just praying that I was dropping out of this Olympia and retiring.
And so notice he drops Ramon, Wesley Vissers, and Urs, the three names that he realizes that is his main competition. He didn't name anyone else. He did this for a reason. But Chris, deep down, he knows it's his show to lose.
Join JHM Shark, athlete, owner. Next chapter. What?
Say athlete and owner.
They gave me equity.
And notice the eyes bulging out of his skull. They gave him a small amount of equity, but even 1% equity of JHM Shark, that is worth millions of dollars.
I normally wake up at 7. I woke up at 6:45. Literally about to throw up from being so hungry. Just stomach wrenching in starvation mode.
And so think of this. He's up 15 minutes early before the alarm, 6:45 in the morning, so hungry that he feels like he's going to throw up. He is starving. And what does he think of that? Is he upset about this? Nope. He feels sick, but not literally sick. It feels sick, as in that is an awesome feeling because I know that that is my body getting shredded. All those hunger signals that I'm getting, it means that my body is doing what it should be. Now remember, Mike Israetel, he couldn't go through those feelings. He was taking a semi-glutide. That is, for example, something like Ozempic. It decreases your appetite. It tricks your body into thinking that it's not hungry. But Chris, he doesn't need to use that. He's doing it the old-fashioned way with mental fortitude and grit. It's worked in the past 5 consecutive years, and so why change it?
5 weeks out, I still have to lose 10 pounds, 12 pounds. And I'm already this starving.
I want you to look at his physique once he rips off the pump cover. Do you see 10 to 12 pounds that he has to lose off his physique? In comparison, an amateur wanting to be a pro, for example, Mike Israetel, compare how he looks on show day versus Cbum 5 weeks out. Cbum's like, nope, it's now time to really dig deep, to really push the diet, to get in more cardio, to decrease the calories.
Right now, I even feel a little nauseous and hungry already. It's fucking 2 p.m., so rock and roll.
And so it's 2 p.m., he's feeling nauseous and hungry. This is how hungry he is. This is what it takes to be truly shredded, like Chris Bumstead.
Mentally, I was like, if I pick those up off season, I would be like, I'm getting 6 reps. But I know I'm in prep. I know my fatigue is just from dieting, etc., etc. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm getting over 10.
And so he picked up the weights. At first, he's thinking, man, how am I even going to get 6? But he is an animal. He gets 10, maybe even 11.
So I might actually be 6'2.5" this year and step on stage at my current weight of like 255.
All he literally has to do is avoid injury and show up shredded, and he's not losing. And so as hard as he's training right now, he doesn't even have to. If he were to right now for 5 weeks go through the motions and train half-ass, he'd still win the Olympia. But that is not the thought process of a champion. He's not there to win it. He's there to dominate. And notice he's even getting the long-range partials at the bottom. He's not giving up. He's training to failure and beyond. And you can see just how lean he is. Doing the overhead tricep extensions, you can see the vascularity on the lats. It's as if there's only 1 millimeter separating his veins through his skin. And again, beyond failure, training at level 3, going above and beyond what's required. To many people out there saying, 3 reps in reserve, that's all you need. You don't need to push yourself. What does 5-time Mr. Olympian Chris think of that? And it's one thing to listen to how somebody is going to train, but it's another thing to watch them. And as I'm watching Chris, what does he teach me? He teaches me to push hard, to go to failure and beyond. And remember, I'm not talking about beginners, but if you're an advanced level trainer, you've been training for 5 years plus, this is how you should be training. And look at the delts, the striations on the side laterals. And remember, he's not even training science-based. If you were to watch this, you know that doing this with cable laterals, it's more scientific than using the dumbbells. There's tension at the bottom, but yet 5 times Mr. Olympia champion physique. And so what I'm here to tell you is you can make up for science-based lifting and so on with intensity, with training harder than last time. If you give me 2 athletes, one is training with the most scientific program known to man, but not training hard enough, and the other one is just throwing around weights, not knowing what they're doing, but they're going hard. I'm betting on the one going hard to have a better physique.
Post-workout fish. Delicious.
And so remember, as serious as Chris is, it's about as serious as you can take it. Even him, he's having the low-calorie sauces. And Chris, he is him. He is him. And so when I say it's okay to have your sugar-free beverages, your diet Pepsis and so on, that you want to have low-calorie ketchup and barbecue sauces, and you want to put that on your food and make it taste amazing, if Chris can do it, don't you think you can? And so people out there thinking, nope, it's got to be chicken, broccoli, and rice, boiled, steamed, with plain water. It's bullshit. And 95% of you are going to cheat on your diet. And you know it. You're not telling your coach, but your coach isn't me. And I am aware. I'm like freaking Santa Claus. I know if you've been naughty or nice. And you've been naughty.
So I guess, as you guys know, I've rejoined JHM Shark. Brought me on as a very small owner part of it, but they gave me some equity in it. We can do some lines.
Chris, you just say you're going to do some lines. I know you got low energy, but hey, come on. You're not Togi.
Red goddamn Doucette.
But Chris, it's not the way. Do not sniff the creatine.
The next chapter right now, moving on to all this stuff. So I'm excited about it. Like I said, love that they're trying to bring the gym to the world. I'm fully on board with that.
Chris struggling with the mental battle, but of course he is. How could he not be? Bodybuilding, it's not easy. Remember, many people suffer from body dysmorphia. Chris is not 100% natural. And so please understand that this sport, it's very dangerous. If you take on bodybuilding, please be careful. Interested in a free diet and training program? That's right, it's free. It's close to 50 pages. Head over to my website. It's 100% free. Remember, I'm 2 steps ahead. I planned out multiple calorie points. Whether you need a 1,500 calorie, 2,000, 2,500, 3,000, there are multiple plans, and so it's custom designed for you. And it's free. Don't say I didn't do anything for you. Head over to my website. Obviously, you can get the cookbooks, the training books, the coaching plans by me and my team, the Circle Diet Book, the Harder Than Last Time clothing line. Don't forget to use code GREG to save yourself 15% off. And until next time, I am out.